Hi, I'm Allan. I lead IT operations focused on observability, people leadership under pressure. This is the Metrics and Mayhem podcast. Let's get into this week. So, a few weeks back, I got the standard call at 3:15 in the morning. It was a customer-facing P99, and it had jumped over 2 seconds, but it had been there for quite a few minutes, around about 10 minutes. So the junior engineer woke the senior guy on call, the senior guy woke me, and by the time I had the laptop open, three of us were on a bridge call trying to remember what the dashboard was for that service was actually called. We just couldn't remember. And that's because we hadn't built one. The runbook was just a stub. The SLO was a slide from the planning meeting that nobody ever turned into an alert. We got the customer back in an hour. By the postmortem on the Friday, the story we told ourselves was at the time that the team had really responded brilliantly under pressure. And that's the story of this one. I want to push on today. So here's something I read recently that I haven't been able to get out of my mind and put down. The best operational decision makers do not make better decisions in the moment. They position themselves before the moment. So they're never focused into a bad decision because they're positioned to it beforehand. So an example that really landed to me was the one that they said about Warren Buffett. He's sitting on $150 billion, right? All in cash. So when the market goes up, Buffett wins because he's already in the market. When the market stays flat, he wins because of the cash he earns. When the market tanks, he gets all giddy because now he knows he gets to deploy cash into the market and possibly everyone is forced to follow that trend. No prediction, no heroics, just a position that wins under multiple futures. Now, look at how most teams run observability. The strategy starts at the alert. The dashboard gets built after the incident, generally. The runbook is written by the engineer who took the on-call. The SLO is defined well after the third escalation, and everything we do is downstream of that failure. The term reactive. We are not positioning, we are reacting, and we dress the reaction up as professionalism. Now, we celebrate the engineer who held the line at 3 a.m. We write the LinkedIn post about how the team pulled together, and we forget that none of that would have worked or would have even been needed if we'd been in the right position and we built that in the first place. I've done it too, and even more recently than I'd care to mention. I'm not standing above on this one for sure. I've been the one writing the post, saying how the team did a great job. And here's the real uncomfortable bit for me. It feels responsible in the moment, like I've said previously. It feels like leadership. You're reacting to the data, you're being decisive, you're keeping the customer up. But decisiveness pointed at an unbuilt position beforehand is just motion. So just let that resonate for a second, right? The team I was proud of on Friday didn't lose that Tuesday night or their personal time on a Tuesday night because of bad luck. They lost it in the previous quarter when the launch slipped and we didn't go back and change the dashboard or we didn't raise it. They lost it in the planning meeting where we agreed the SLO in principle and never converted it into alert. They lost it in every review where we accepted we will tune later as an answer. Heroism is the polite word for saying that system wasn't well positioned. So what do I mean? This is the hard stop, right? For me, for this week is if your observability strategy starts at the alert, you're already playing hard mode, right? You've got your Tekken turned up to ultra hard settings and you're never going to win. So what do we do with that, right? I'm not telling you to stop responding to incidents. Of course, I'm fucking not. That's insane. I'm telling you to stop calling the response the strategy. Positioning is boring on purpose. It's a quarterly half day where you sit in a room and name the failure modes that you can imagine for the next thing you're going to ship. It's the conversation with the product team where you agree the SLOs before the feature actually releases, not 3 months after. It's the runbook where you write the code still in review, not when the customer is on the phone wanting to know where his payments are. So here's the habit you can set up for this week. And I know you love these guys. Pick the next feature your team is about to ship. Before you merge, do 4 things on paper, right? And I mean paper, right? 1, write down 3 failure modes you can name for this feature. Not all of them. 3 you can describe in just 1 sentence each. 2, what SLO should be for each. Pick a number you can defend in the room. Decide what dashboard tile you want to see when the on-call team opens up their laptop at 3 o'clock in the morning. Not the dashboard, just the tile. Right. 4, decide what the call-out rule is. Right. What number, sustain for how long, wakes the engineer, and written when you're not tired. So none of this is heroic. That's the point. The work pays for itself. The first time the pager alert doesn't fire is the one that you would have been woke up to. Buffett looks lucky on the day the market tanks. He isn't. He spent the previous 5, 10, 15 years being patient, but the luck is the positioning yourself properly before. So positioning feels like work that really isn't earning its keep, right? Because the page hasn't happened yet. That's what positioning feels like. That is the work. Position yourself well beforehand. And we often talk about reactive and trying to be assertive more with our observability. And we're all getting consumed with AI and that of late, and I'm definitely to blame there. The human element still stands. Position yourself properly. Do your best to get that into your mindset and your team's mindset. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next week. More signal soon.